babes behind the beats with Jess Bowen and Bowie J.
G'day, it is Bowie J with Jess Bowen for Babes Behind the Beats, and today we have producer, DJ Robyn Balliet, all the way from Detroit, but actually lives in LA, right?
Beverly Hills.
So great to have you here. And we've all moved in the same circles. Obviously, you've had a track on Insomniac Radio and on Insomniac.
Yeah,
on
Insomniac Records. Yeah.
It's just I'm
They're
on
like,
Insomniac to say. So and also a number of other labels, and you've had a really interesting journey because you've come from a marketing background, right?
Sure.
And it's always interesting to hear how people have moved over to another industry, and so we would love to hear a bit about you and maybe when you started getting into music.
Oh man, when I was a kid, to be honest with you, I knew when I was like 13, 14. I wanted. Sorry.
Hello. I'm like,
I knew it this clearly. I knew as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old kid that I wanted to be a DJ. As a young kid, I grew up as a first-string violinist, so music is like in my blood.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Like my brothers played instruments. My dad played instruments. My grandmother wrote piano tracks. Like, we're all artists. Even my younger brother, his wife, like, if you go to Detroit, if you ever go to Movement or any of the big like Heart festivals downtown for electronic music, there's a statue. It's called the Spirit of Detroit, and that's my sister-in-law's first grandfather's sculpture. So
wow,
on all sides of the family and our blood, we're artists. So I used to party underage, rave. They didn't even call them raves back then in Detroit. It was like,
What was it called then?
Like, we're going to give you this address and we're going to give you this like place to show up, and then we're going to give you another address. Like, you had to keep like hopping around town to find out where the destination was.
Interesting.
And then it was wild. It was always like some sort of abandoned train station or something downtown where you're like literally in the hood. Like,
whoa.
You're like, yeah, it was crazy.
Detroit is the like original maybe birthplace of techno.
It is.
And you know, some people argue about that, but it definitely was. And there's such a history of dance music in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So you've obviously grown up with a love of that kind of music
Since I was a kid. Punk rock, electronic music, hip hop, like. Back in Michigan, we don't have a lot to do. Honestly, it's a very like cold place. But in the summers, we have the 5 Great Lakes. So we're on boats, we're partying. But there's a really strong music community, and it's very diverse. Like, it's not just like one genre. So I grew up listening to, all my friends were in punk rock bands. I was like this crazy snowboarder, straight edge kid. No drinking, no partying, no drugs, nothing. Like, super good.
Wow.
But then I also hung out and dated these like rebel skateboarder boys and you know, punk rockers. Like, even Travis Barker was in he like did some cameos or whatever you would call it with this group of guys that I used to hang out with.
Wait, no way.
Suicide Machines.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
I could show you guys a picture. It doesn't even look like him.
No way.
But these
was
were
this
my
before
friends.
he was in Blink?
Way.
Because I was going to say that would have been
Let
before.
me pull it up. I got it.
No
I gotta
way.
say.
Because as you know, like, I'm a huge Travis Barker fan.
Okay, wait till you see this. You're going to be like, no
Like, as
way.
a drummer, he was like my, like,
She started in a
I
Blink.
started as a Blink 182. Like, me and my
Shut up.
band, to this day, like, we started as a Blink 182 cover band.
No way.
So I started basically playing Travis's drum parts, not well,
No
obviously, at
way.
the age of 12.
Yeah.
I was 12.
Still, you were 12,
But,
babe.
you know, I was playing his drum parts, and he was just like, for me, like an icon,
Yeah.
you know, and still is.
100%.
He's still a huge
You're gonna
influence
shit.
on me.
Are you ready to see
Wait,
this?
I'm ready.
So-
We got to
so-
show this. We're going
okay.
to show this on
So I'll give you the short version of this story. So I was like, I was born in Niagara Falls, New York,
Okay.
and then my parents moved us to Detroit, Car City, Automotive City, Rock City, whatever you want to call it, because my whole family is in cars in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
So we had some rough times initially when they brought us to one place in Michigan where it was like crazy. Like, my parents didn't know any better. They burned down our school.
Oh, my God.
All this. I'm not even going to get into the negative, but they moved us into the suburbs. So I became like this like cutesy little suburb girl, but I still had like, you know, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not like ghetto, but I'm like, I can hang out with anybody. So
Yeah.
I would like venture into the city,
Yeah.
you know, Detroit, away from the suburbs. And I had this crazy skater boyfriend. And all of his friends were hip hop or punk rock or ska music. So he's really, and he actually ended up, it's a sad story. I'm sounding super crazy, but he was murdered. He got into a fight. But he was one of my biggest influences in terms of music, like just like opening up my mind to all these different genres that
Right.
But
Didn't know
anyways,
before.
you're gonna shit when you see this. That's Travis Barker with my boys from
Oh
Detroit.
my God.
Wow.
Oh, we're gonna show
I just
this.
fucking found that last night. I was like, wow.
We're gonna have you send this to us so that we can do a split
Okay.
screen and show this. But
Yeah.
like,
That's true.
that's
But Suicide
wild.
Machine. So ska was like a
I
thing back
remember
in the
that
day.
Band Suicide Machines.
And those were my ex's very good friends, like all of his friends, best friends.
Wow.
Some of the original like United States ska punk rockers. So like I have a very diverse background in music. It's not just, one or the other. It's like, I just
Right.
love music. I just love good music. Like
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah, 100%.
And so you love DJing. When did you move into, say, or the producing side, or when did you move into dance music? I guess
Sure.
you're partying.
So I knew when I was a kid going to these raves, again, they were like illegal parties. They weren't really called raves back then. I knew that I wanted to be a DJ. Even Tiesto, he's one of my first influences. Like saw him at, I think it's called the Forum now. Or
yeah.
downtown Detroit, but like, I don't know. I think it holds like 400 or 500 people. I mean, beginning of his like early 90s days.
Wow.
So I always was like, this is something I'm going to do one day. Life gets in the way. You got to make money. You got to survive, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward many years later, I moved to LA and I actually went to Scratch Academy for like a split
Oh,
moment.
interesting.
And
So
my
Scratch, for people who don't know, because they may not know, it's
Run
like
DMC.
Yeah, what is-
you learn how to DJ there. That's the main. There's not producing there, is it? Or
I can't remember. I mean, maybe they've evolved since
Yeah.
this is
It's
like
basically-
13, 14 years ago.
it was
Yeah.
one of the only courses you could do, right?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but my marketing agency got super busy. So I was like, okay, pursue this thing or put this on hold, shelf it, survive and then come back to what I knew that I always wanted to do since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So fast forward, my dad ended up passing away. And just when he was very sick, he was dying. He was like, my daughter, you're beautiful, you're all these things, but you need to like, go after your dreams. Everybody, my whole family, all my friends, everyone knew that I wanted to be an artist. Like they knew music is, again, art is a part of our family, but they knew that was my dream since I was a kid.
Right.
I was always like the fucking person at the party with the playlist, like probably all of us here,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We got the
want to control the
music.
music.
Yes. So finally, I was like, okay, after my dad passed away, I had a couple of years of drinking wine every day, literally every day of the week, maybe a bottle until I got over the morning thing. And I was like, okay, it's time. Like, it's time for me to finally go after, like, what
Your
makes me
dreams.
happy.
Yeah.
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 So I started going to, I enrolled in Point Blank.
So you'd done the Scratch course years before.
I didn't really do it because I dipped my toe in it and then I stopped. I was like starting.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I can't. This is going to be too much.
Then life
Yeah.
is life. You're doing your marketing agency, and then you have this big life moment, and then you go to Point Blank. Now, what was Point Blank like? It's a DJ and producing school.
It's everything.
And quite a few people I know have done Point Blank, actually. So
It's everything. And it's evolved so much even since I left the school. It's incredible. I mean, they originated in London, so they've been around for a really long time. The LA location, I think it's only been, here maybe like...
Oh, that's right. It is London.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ibiza and where else do they have? I think like somewhere in India and then here.
And are you learning production? Like, do you sit down and they go, right, we're going to teach you Ableton?
Yeah. Ableton. Yeah.
What?
It
Wow.
was tough. Ableton.
Yeah, so how, is it a year course or?
So most people don't do a year. Most people do like little increments, a few months. I did like everything in 1 year. I'm psychotic.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me own this social media marketing agency with 25, clients, and then let me go through the whole production from A to Z. And then I never knew how to DJ. Like, I didn't know how to DJ. I didn't know what to do. So
Yeah.
I went and I had a female teach me. She
Oh,
was
interesting.
Yeah, she's amazing. We're still very close to this day.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because we talk about it quite often with our female guests.
Yeah.
That we think females try harder because we want to make sure we know what we don't know.
Right.
And I think I know I'm like that with DJing. I want to make sure I know what can go wrong and all that stuff. And it's like a course is great for that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to do. I've been a business owner for so many years, and as much as I was like in the scene when I was in Michigan as an adult here, I didn't even know they had an underground scene. I was like, where is the underground scene?
In LA,
and it was,
yeah,
I was clueless. And my teachers were the ones that were like, girl, of course there's an underground scene here. And then once I started like navigating and diving into it, I'm like, oh, Jesus. Yeah, there's definitely a scene here.
Wow.
I didn't even know it existed because I was so enthralled with my whole business life. So
yeah.
Right.
So you finish the course, and then how do you get into producing a track? Like, what do you do? Because I know, like, I've gone through the same process. That you go, now what? How do I release a track?
So I started working with a mentor for like a year. And he was great. Men are tough sometimes to work with. Like,
Oh yeah.
So
we know.
you were co-writing a track, or
we were working together. He was teaching me a lot of different things. Like, and I've went back to Point Blank and told them this. There's a lot of different aspects in the business, and actually, my videographer right there knows this conversation.
yeah,
There's a lot of different aspects to DJing. Forget the producing, where they don't teach you that stuff in school, like organization, music organization, like workflow, like how you're gonna.
yeah.
So I hired a mentor to start working with me on production, but I swear we spent like 3 or 4 months just on organization and workflow as a
Wow.
DJ.
What does
Because
that
there's
mean
a
as
whole-
far as organization and workflow?
There's
as
a whole
DJ?
process with that fucking record box.
Well,
So
it's-
for me, what does that mean? For
Because
somebody who's not a
basically,
DJ, what does
so
that mean?
I didn't do a course.
yeah.
And I just started on Record Box, which is the place where you organize all your tracks.
Yeah.
Now, because I didn't learn the proper way, I
can't
just
wait to hear what you say.
I threw all the tracks
Yeah.
in, and I've created folders afterwards. Now, it's really annoying for me now because there's so many tracks I don't use.
So I can teach you the best workflow ever, by the way, if you haven't already learned.
So now I do monthly downloads. I have a folder, and then I label them, and like I've got a whole system now. But
Yeah.
but like I wish I'd known that at the
Yeah.
start, because it's like you basically have to organize
It's such a
thousands of tracks.
It's a big aspect of our business is like staying organized and knowing where your files are going. It sounds so stupid and trivial, but it's not. It's like
Well, because as a DJ, there's so many songs that you're working with that has to flow into one or the
thousands
other.
and thousands. I have like
So-
20,000 tracks in my library. So if I'm not organized,
So do you organize them as, again, this is me asking as not a DJ. Are you organizing them in a BPM? Are you organizing them in a what the key of the song is? How do you organize
Everything.
all of the above?
So I'll tell everybody my workflow, and this could be actually like great information for new artists that are like, what do I do? Like, what's the process? And even some of my friends that have been DJing for a while, they of course think they know everything, but I'm like, just listen to me. I went through 6 months of crying and this whole shit and a lot of money to teach you this. I'm telling you, it's efficient and it works. So basically what I do is I download the file. I don't really always necessarily fuck with like high-end wave AIFF files. Like I usually, unless I'm playing a festival, you're on a festival stage or there's like a reason, like MP3s are okay, but it doesn't
MP3s
matter.
are fine.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just
Yeah,
MP3s.
thank you.
Basically
you.
saying MP3.
This is a
'cause they're
constant
smaller.
debate.
They're smaller files, and quite frankly, for a gig, MP3.
I was
Yeah,
going to say
it's
MP3s
fine.
to me seem like they'd be fine.
Yeah.
But okay.
Now, my guys I'm starting my label with will probably be like, no, you're wrong. But and we argue about this. But I think, I mean, I don't know. So anyways, MP3s.
So you download the song.
But I put them into iTunes. No matter where I'm getting this from, I put it
Okay.
into iTunes. And then once it's in iTunes, then I grab the file, make sure you have it downloaded to your library, your Apple iTunes library. Then you take that file and you put it in mixed in key.
Yeah, I don't use mixed in key, but I know people who do. Yeah.
So mixed in key is great because you can have different characters depending on like, you know, are you reading your files by numbers or letters?
Basically, it's ID tagging the file,
100%.
right? So it's like putting information in, and you can say, "Oh, this is a upbeat, whatever." Like,
Okay.
So that can be part of it. You can actually like pick the ID tags that you want, like the key, the
You can change the keys of anything in this app.
You can't
or-
change the keys. You can change like
BPMs?
how you organize it.
Got it. Oh,
So-
okay.
So then you double click it back into your library, like your iTunes library, and then you have it filed however you chose. So again, some people read it by numbers. So I go by the Camelot wheel. I read everything by numbers.
as in which key is going to go with which track. So like,
That's
say
what I was wondering.
yeah.
How people blend those
Yeah.
together.
So it's
Okay.
like, oh, G is going to go well. At,
of course,
you know,
and then you
Yeah.
can blend
yeah.
those tracks together.
and I'm that's just how I a lot of people that hear me play, they're like, oh, you have like seamless sets, like melodically, harmonically, everything kind of like matches, and it's because I do have that technical training.
Yeah, plus
from
your
the damn
violinist.
Camelot wheel.
Wow.
Yeah, from the Camelot wheel. But so then I organize it that way, and then depending on what it is, like if it's a show, I create a playlist with these tracks that have these different keys. You know, everything is really organized, but it's more about like how are you downloading your music, where are you storing it, and then you know the mixing key aspect, and then you can delete it off your hard drive, and then you don't have to overload your hard drive with like all this memory
Right.
and external hard drives where you're
Yeah,
like
it
I went
becomes
through
a hot
fucking like
mess.
2 computers like
Yeah.
before I was like, oh, okay, that's how you do it.
See,
'Cause
I'm
it's a
like that
lot.
with video editing because I'm
Yeah.
not really into it, but I do a little bit of it, and
Yeah.
it's just it's
It
a hot mess.
takes
It's a
up a lot
hot
of
fucking
space.
mess.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Like
Yeah.
it'll ruin your life.
yeah, like oh, now you've run out of space.
As
Yeah.
not a DJ, can I ask one more question? Because
course
this
you
is
can.
still so
Ask whatever
fascinating
you
to me
want.
because I'm so bad at this stuff. So as a DJ,
Workflow,
are you
it's important.
the workflow? Are you also like when you are making your set list, are you trying to blend together songs that are of similar BPM, or does that not matter because you can change the BPMs of certain songs? Like, are you trying to make sure that you're not going from like some song that's like 120 to down to like 95?
So I always
Or-
stay within 8. Like I don't go above like if,
8
like I
BPM.
bring in a track at 120, like 128 is the cutoff track for me.
Or 112?
Before the tempo gets kind of fucked up and then the track sounds like if you have a vocal, it's like the voice changes and
Got
it
it.
sounds like it's like a bug
right,
at a
right,
certain
right.
point. It just doesn't sound right. It's like
Totally.
it
Yeah.
just doesn't sound right. So those are my rules, like 7 to 8 BPMs.
Above or below, as in like you can go 8
Correct.
up or below.
Yeah,
120.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bowie, both you and I, we try to be very healthy. We like to work out. We want to eat healthy. And with that being said, we know that eating healthy, it's better to have home-cooked meals, right? They're so much better for you, but we don't always have the time to pull that off. But with HelloFresh handling all the meal planning, shopping, and most of the prep, it's easier than ever to get dinner on the table, quick and painless. What I also love about HelloFresh is, plans change, life gets busy. I am about to, when I'm about to leave for tour, I don't want to have HelloFresh being delivered every week. But that's why HelloFresh lets you easily customize your delivery from week to week. You can tailor everything to your schedule by adjusting your delivery date or skip a week when you're not able to cook at home. Like me, when I'm out on tour, I can just skip a few weeks and have it ready for me when I get home and get that delivery back to normal. What's also great about it is I have so much fun cooking because me and Lauren, my partner, we will do this as like a date night. We'll cook together and we're not chefs by any means, but this is kind of a fun date night for us because all of the ingredients are already there and it has the simple step-by-step instructions, and we absolutely think the food is just delicious. And with her being vegetarian, they also have so many options where you can pick vegetarian meals, and they have been very delicious, let me tell you. So for free breakfast for life, go to hellofresh.com/freebabesbeat. One free breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to hellofresh.com/freebabesbeat. You guys, I don't know how else to stress this. You can get free breakfast for life, okay? So one more time, free breakfast for life. You go to hellofresh.com/freebabesbeat.
Another argument I get into with my guys that I'm starting a label with, like they're legends. They've been doing this for 25, 30 years. So they're like, I just do what I want. I'm like, okay, well, that's not what I do. Like I have to plan things a little bit more. I'm still a newer artist. So for me, I do always have like a playlist that I think I'm going to play, like a set list of tracks that I've went through. and the journey makes sense, the sound makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
You prep.
But yeah, you prep. I prep. And
I prep too.
yeah, dude, like it's funny because like artists can be the biggest haters ever. Like they can talk the most shit and be like, oh, well, the fact that you need to do this or that. Like everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own way of like telling your story.
100%.
For me, I feel like when I play, like I tell a great story and I kind of prep my story ahead. I really do.
Well, you put work into it. That's
100%.
why.
Yeah.
A
I
shit
think,
ton of work.
I think a lot of people can be lazy and
Yeah, they just play whatever.
males.
And
Yeah, but yeah.
no, not all the males.
Not all, but it feels like they can get away with it.
We have to be perfect.
We
because
have to be.
We really can't. We
And
can't
see,
be.
now you see
Yeah.
my complex, you guys. I have a complex about being on camera and my age, the ageism thing. Like, it's like women, we have extra pressure on us for sure. And like when you're a producer, a female producer, and or a DJ, like people just have that fucking magnifying glass on you. Like they're waiting for you to make mistakes.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you to cut corners. They're waiting for you to be not like the dudes. And it's like, this is how I do it. And
Well,
this is just my process.
And Miss Dre, do you know Miss Dre? We had her on.
I don't
our
know
show.
her, but I think we follow each other on Instagram. I
Well,
believe.
She's doing really great things. She
Yeah.
produces all her own music, works really
Yeah.
hard, and she posted in her Instagram stories the other day one of the comments, which I was going to send to you, and it said it was from a guy, and it said, "Who's ghost producing for
Fuck
you?"
off.
And she's like, "Mate, all I do is
Yeah.
produce all
Yeah.
day and night." Like,
Yeah.
And that's what I hate too. There's a lot of like, and him and I talk about this all the time. There's a lot of like flack that women get, even if you bring in other producers. Like, if you look up like most of these artist credits, and I'm about to call people out right now.
yeah,
You can.
You are gonna
You're
be
allowed
bad.
to.
If you look at even the top producers out there, the top DJs, if you look at their credits, they're working with other producers. There's
Yeah.
nothing fucking wrong with that. Like,
Yeah.
no,
there is nothing wrong with that. Like,
that's right.
I don't believe there's anything wrong with it. I've invested so much money and so much time, maybe way less than the next person, but you know, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I'm a business person.
You gotta be.
And you're only as good as your team and the
Yeah.
people that you can bring in. And like, if you can have people where I work with other guys too, we all write together. We've written in his studio just a couple of weeks ago. Like, I'm not going to master. I'm fucking almost 44 years old. Can we edit that out?
You're not gonna be the jack of all trades.
No fucking way. Like,
Yeah.
it's not possible. But I still have some creative say in this. And then
You know, it
bring-
sounds good. And
Yeah, and then you
Yes.
bring in other people that are experts in their space, and
you
we
guys
all-
co-write as well.
I was gonna say it like that goes the same with just any musician. I feel like in
100%.
bands, like you can't be so like sensitive about like no, we can only write together. Like if you bring in other artists, other minds, other people that can help with production or with lyrics or with the musicality of it, I mean, it's only gonna make you better.
If
like-
I'm telling you, you look up any of the big players in this industry, and there's like 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Beyonce, she sings her tracks. She does not produce any of
No,
those
of
for
course.
the most part.
No,
Everyone
that's
works with other
right.
people.
Yeah,
Everyone
and there's
works with other people.
nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
because a lot of these people in the industry that have done it, they're males, and so they're gonna bag on us and they're gonna hate on us.
And they
And
just
it's tough.
for some reason they assume that we didn't do it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's harder for females to get into those rooms is the thing.
Sure.
Unless you're literally Beyonce. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like as a female you have to, like you said, like you're like prepping so hard because they're already waiting for you to
waiting.
fuck up.
Yeah.
They're waiting.
Because they just assume you will.
Yeah.
But the
I mean-
women, I'm gonna be honest with you, the women can be just as bad.
right.
Yeah, I guess
Sadly, I hate that because I'm like,
I try and be open and helping the
Yeah.
other females, but
Me
you're
too.
right. Not everyone is like that.
I'm a girl's girl.
Yeah.
Even some of my own girlfriends are kind of like low key haters, and I hate that. They're
Yeah.
young and they gotta. What's going on here?
Oh, you're good.
They need to grow up a little bit. And it's funny, some of them are coming around now where I'm like, listen, I fucking invested a lot of money in my schooling and in having a mentor, and I just invest a lot in my marketing, like everything. I'm not going to move fast if I don't have help. I
Yeah.
don't have people that I partner up with. and work with.
100%.
and that's
And there's
smart.
nothing fucking
Literally
wrong with
nothing
it.
wrong with it.
I'm not going to sit
Literally.
here and putz through. I'm sprinting. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
let's go. Like,
Yeah.
and let me learn everything I can from you. But again, if you look up the credits with all these artists out there, they could be master producers, but at this point in their careers, they're gonna team up with other people, and they're gonna and there's nothing wrong with that. And I just did an interview actually for Point Blank. I played for Escape for Insomniac last year, and I was talking, I was trying to give some insights on, making it or whatever. I haven't made it yet, but I hope I do. But just, I don't want the students to think like you have to be this master producer right out the gate. Like, it takes a lot of time. It could be like 10 years before you really like break ground. And I'm fucking, again, not young.
Yeah.
So you got to move quick and move.
I got to move.
No, you can be
I'm moving.
smart about it because you've got life experience.
Yeah.
So. But I
100%.
want to know, how did you, and we're sort of running out of time here, but,
shoot.
but what time is it? Oh, yeah, we are,
4:14.
because we've got another interview. But,
look at
but
you
what
guys.
I'm
I
wondering
love it.
about is, how did you get your tracks signed to labels? Because I think a lot of upcoming DJs wonder about that process. Because in the DJ world, for some of our listeners are in the rock world, in the DJ world, it gets signed track by track generally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did I get signed?
So
No one's ever asked me that question.
So, like, you've got a track. There was one in Ibiza, right?
With D Palma.
Yeah.
I had an EP actually with that label.
How did that come about? Was that someone you met somewhere, or
No,
or you just sent in the track?
I had 2 tracks. It was weird. Like, I've been listening to D Palma for years.
Yeah.
And I love the owner, amazing artist. And I'm like, you know what? I have these 2 tracks. I don't know why. It was like a light bulb went off. Like, I feel like this would fit this vibe.
Interesting.
And so I send both. Usually when you're sending tracks out, like, it's good to always send more than one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're only sending one. Actually,
Interesting.
yesterday I sent one singular track to like 2 or 3 different labels. Nervous Records, Defected, and who else did I send it to? 3 different tracks. But sometimes that happens, but you always try to send like more than one. Never expecting that they're gonna pick up both. Like, usually it's like, oh, they have like choice. Like, if you're sending them 3, then they have like 3 choices.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just sent him,
And
2.
they responded.
And he was like, right away. I was like, shit, okay.
Hell yeah.
And then it was cool.
It's important to know what the style of the label is, like in
It's
dance
deep house.
music. So yeah,
It's deep house.
so
Yeah.
knowing that deep house and this is the sound they produce, you've already listened to them, and then you submit your track, it already fits the genre.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and then he signs it.
Yeah,
That's
he signed it.
amazing.
So should we get into my label stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know how to pronounce it. I work with 2 other guys. We're like, we've all been writing together. My one guy, he's here every 2 months. He's one of my best friends. He's one of my mentors. We produce together, all 3 of us. We write together. Am I losing? Is it happening?
you're all good.
It's fine. Yeah.
And so, like, our goal collectively is to bring that kind of like European sound here. So we're launching a label, and I don't know how to pronounce it yet. Like, I was like messaging them today, like, how do you say this in German versus English? But Lavum, I guess you would call it.
That's going to be the name of the label.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So I'm partnering up with Marcus Home and artist name Gorge. His real name is Pitt. But those guys are like my mentors. They're amazing. Like,
That's
incredible.
great.
They're from Germany, both of them. They're like they're my family. Those
you had
guys.
a track out with Gorge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's incredible. It's crazy because these guys were people that I looked up to for years and listened to for a long time. And I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but the inception of our relationship to now, like, we've been working together for years and we're starting this label. It's like, wow, how did that happen? Like, having
That is
like
great.
your icon be like your partner now. So
Amazing.
and they came to me, like, Gorge was the one that was like, what do you think about partnering up with us? And like, we've collabed on tracks. Like, what do you think about all of us getting into business together and starting this label? And I was like, I had it in my mind and my heart, like, it kind of manifested it, like that
That's
would be
great.
a dream. And then he came to me and I was like, holy shit, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we're getting ready to launch that soon. We're like, I don't love the name. Marcus actually picked it. We went through so many names and every fucking name was taken. Whether Instagram randoms with 0 followers took the business name or the name is. So we came up with this name. It has no real meaning, I guess. I don't know. I was like, what's the meaning?
And
They're
it's
like,
going to be house music, the label?
no. I want more driving. It's my label. They're my partners, but it's my label. I want more, like, when I play these festivals, I find that, like, Deep House is amazing. That's like what I produce with these guys. What we all kind of produce, but it's not like we need more driving stuff for the bigger stages. So we are trying to sign like bigger tracks. Like we want deep house tracks, but tracks that are more driving. Like,
I see.
It translates on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
know.
I love
rather than a smaller club.
Yeah, I love that vibe. I love the underground, low key. Like I wish Europe was here, and you know, we're here, so this is it. But I want more driving tracks for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I want to try to bring that like European sound here. Not like I'm like some innovator of anything, but like I'm trying to do my part. So that's my label direction. So it's everything. It's going to be deep house. It's going to be like European tech house, like
Nice.
progressive.
I'm stoked.
Anything
for
a
that.
little bit more driving, non-corny, not cheesy, no commercial shit. Like cool, but not my thing. Not our thing. Like I was a European in a different life for sure. I really was, or you know, whatever, British something. Not an American, but here I am.
Yeah. No, I'm stoked for that. I can't wait to hear that.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
I'm stoked. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Sorry, I was late too.
No,
Fucking
you're
Tessa.
all good. But hey, for anyone who is not already following you, could
Yeah.
you give your like social media accounts that you're the most active on, so everyone can keep up?
I'm
with
so
you?
bad at this. Constant fight with my manager and everybody, my whole team. I suck at social media. I own a social media marketing agency, and I'm like, I hate it. I'm
You just
really
can't do your own because you're like
no.
you're doing other
it's
things.
it's skin crawling, cringy. Like,
Yeah.
like that's not who I am. Like I'm like old and low key, but Instagram, I'm starting to pick up. Facebook again. Like I have this account. It's got like over 1 million followers on it, and I haven't even like posted really in like 5 years.
Damn.
That's how bad I am.
So what is how do we find it?
ROBYN. B as in boy, ALLIET. Instagram.
So Robyn Balliet. Is that how we say it?
Balliet.
Robyn Balliet.
Everyone
Yeah.
go follow Robyn.
And we'll
you.
tag you obviously in this episode as well, so obviously everyone can look at that. But yeah, you're doing so many amazing things. So I hope everyone go follow what she's doing. You're incredible.
We need more support behind the females. Though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
100%.
tell you that. Like, if I can end this, I'm not a feminist. I'm really not. I love men. I love my men, but we need more help. We need more support. I've went through so many like really crazy experiences, unfortunately, with male promoters and men in the industry. Like, you guys need to protect us. You're men for a reason. Like, you need to like protect us. And we're not asking for a handout. We're not asking for like anything, but like just make us feel safe and protect us, and don't fucking fuck with us.
Yeah.
Like, don't take my money.
Yes.
Don't do some bait and switch shit. Like,
Yes.
It's
Don't
not
try-
going to work with us because we've already looked into everything before we got there.
yeah,
so
well, we all still, unfortunately have to learn lessons. And
Yeah, true.
even recently, I did a couple things where I'm like, what the fuck? I know better. Like,
I know. Isn't it
Why?
amazing
Yeah.
when you go, well, I guess it's good because I've learnt a lesson from
yeah.
it.
yeah.
There's some really great promoters out there, though. Carlos Corrier from Insomniac.
Yep.
Michael Julian, Enter Gray Area. Like, guys like that will protect the females for sure.
We love the Insomniac team.
Insomniac's the best. That's my family. But there's some fucking crazies out there. And,
Yeah.
You got to
know,
be careful.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but
Well,
You gotta look out
yeah, we got to protect
and
women,
protect each
we
other.
got to protect each other too.
100%. 100%.
Don't be a hater. We all have a space to eat.
We have space for all of us.
Yes,
Come
because we're
on.
all individuals. It's art. You can't judge
Exactly.
art.
That's
You can't
right.
judge your
Exactly.
journey. Everyone has a different journey. Like, the females can be super catty. Like, oh, she's da 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 blah 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 blah. Who
Right.
cares? Like,
yeah.
No,
You
we're all
know?
here trying to do the same thing.
100%.
Let's all be friends and protect each other.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. We really would appreciate it. Like. Okay. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks
in.
for having. I'm not that exciting.
Yes,
Thank
you
you for
are.
having me.
No, stop. You were
I'm
amazing.
really not.
We'll speak to you
You're
soon.
amazing.
Oh,
Thank
I
you for
love
being
you
here,
girls.
and thank you all.